Hello, pup parents, and welcome to today's episode of the Perfect Pup Podcast. My name is Devin. I'm excited for this episode. It's a really important one. We're coming up on Thanksgiving, and so in today's episode, we're going to talk about the foods that your dog can and cannot have that are often on the Thanksgiving table. So let's get right into it. On this podcast, I always like to talk kind of in principles and generalities versus like specifics. And so I think it's important to start with the idea that the main thing that you want to avoid with all of these, Thanksgiving foods or all of the things that you're like, can I give this to my dog? I pull it off my plate. First things first, if there is like seasonings or any type of spices or herbs or even butters, you're not going to want to give that to your dog. Dogs just handle those types of things differently than we do. And it's likely to give them an upset stomach. So, um, let's start with those things that you can't have. Again, generally, all those things that I just said, but let's go into more specifics. You definitely do not want to give your dog like cooked turkey bones. Those can splinter. It's a serious choking hazard. You don't want to give them the skin of the turkey because odds are you put spices on it. You don't want to give them things like gravy, butter, seasonings and spices. Like I said, they're just too especially with like things like the gravy and then the spices and the herbs, our dogs just aren't built to handle those the same way that we are. You're also not going to want to give anything with like onions, scallions, garlic, chives, leeks, those types of things. They're just not good for our dogs. And then the other kind of major category that you don't want to give to your dog is desserts. Most of those are going to have, a lot of them might have chocolate, a lot of them might have too much sugar for our dogs, those types of things. So you don't want to give them desserts. And then lastly, you don't want to give them alcohol. Obviously, we're not talking about, I think we all know or hopefully know that, you don't want to fill up your dog's water bowl with some beer, but also you have to be careful of like things that are cooked in alcohol. Again, it can be very detrimental to your dog's health to consume any type of alcohol in any way, shape, or form. So make sure that that is not something you give them. So now that you know what not to give them, let's talk about things that you can give them. Again, turkey, like just the meat, if it doesn't have, no bones, no skin, you don't have the seasonings on it, that type of thing, you can definitely give them turkey. Turkey meat is a great option for dogs, a nice snack that they'll enjoy. You can do a little training, impress your guests that come over for Thanksgiving, that type of thing. Other things that you can give your dogs, sweet potatoes and regular potatoes in moderation. Again, of course, you don't want there to be any like seasonings or toppings or those types of things. But those, especially sweet potatoes, are actually really good for your dog. They've got a lot of fiber and vitamins, beta carotene, those types of things. So just serve them either baked or boiled, and then just completely plain. Same things with regular potatoes. Other things that you can give, you can give green beans. Again, no seasonings, just cook them very simply. And same goes for pumpkin. Obviously, you're not going to want to give your dog pumpkin pie because all the sugar that is involved in that. But giving your dog like fresh pumpkin or canned pumpkin are great things, but definitely not like the pumpkin mix that you would use for a pie. And again, pumpkin is actually really good for your dog. It has things that can aid in their digestive health, natural fibers, those types of things. So if you're thinking to yourself, well, I want my dog to feel involved with Thanksgiving, like you want, Thanksgiving's all about food, right? So if you want your dog to be involved, I think what's easiest is before you start preparing the food for the humans, set some aside and cook it separately for your dog. And I know this might kind of sound a little extra or whatever, but I think it's fun to do for your dog. So, set aside just some regular turkey, maybe some green beans, sweet potatoes, and you can either bake them or, you can bake or boil some of those things. But just again, the key is to kind of separate what you might what you might want to give your dog versus what you're going to have for yourself, because you're likely going to put a bunch of spices and herbs and seasonings on your own food, and those are the big no-nos for our dogs with Thanksgiving food. As you can see, there are a lot of ways that you can give your dog snacks. I will say that don't let your dog start a bad habit just because it's Thanksgiving, begging at the table, that type of thing. do your best to stick to the good habits that your dog might already have, with not being involved with dinner. I'm also going to include in the episode. We'll put it in the show notes, and then in like the blog post version, we will have the a recipe to a specific kind of like dog meal that you can make that's kind of Thanksgiving esque. A couple other ideas and things you'll want to be aware of just with Thanksgiving and people being involved, new other people who maybe aren't familiar with your dog and going new places, that type of thing. Make sure that your dog's tags are up to date. Hopefully, your dog has been microchipped and that's all up to date, just in case. If it seems like with holidays in general, it lends itself to more scenarios where a door is going to get left open, or your dog might get skittish about another dog that comes over, or a certain person, that type of thing. So make sure that you are prepared for any type of situation where your dog might get out or escape or that type of thing. And then also just have it written down or have it saved in your phone what the there's an ASPCA Animal Poison Control Center, that you can call if your dog ingests something, and they can help you answer like, okay, what do I need to do? We'll put this in the show notes, but for those who are just like to listen, that number is 888-246-4435. And again, remember, give your dog the benefit of the doubt with holidays. If you're going somewhere else and bringing them with you, or some other people are coming over, it can be overwhelming for your dog. So just do what you can now to set them up for success, and pay attention to their body language if they're getting overwhelmed by things. And then also, above all, I'm just going to throw this in as kind of the last point, something to remember, because we've all heard horror stories like this. If you have a dog that is large and can counter surf, be extra careful when you take the turkey out of the oven and are letting it cool, or where people are coming to grab their food or whatnot. I'm sure you've heard stories of families who their entire turkey gets, either knocked onto the ground or eaten by the dog. So just be careful of that. Be aware of counter surfing. There's a lot of smells, a lot of enticing things. So do what you can to make Thanksgiving comfortable for your dog. But of course, stay safe. Avoid spices. Avoid herbs. Avoid any bones. Avoid obviously alcohol. And then again, always avoid chocolate, raisins, those types of things. Oftentimes, Thanksgiving meals can have those things. So grapes and raisins. Sorry. So make sure that your dog does not get those things. And from us here at Pupford, for myself personally, I hope everyone has an amazing Thanksgiving. It has been a very interesting and long year for a lot of reasons. So I hope that everybody has an enjoyable Thanksgiving. And if you have questions on what may or may not be safe for your dog, you can talk to your vet. You can leave us a comment, and we'll try and get back to it as well. But I think in most cases, exercise more caution versus less, and stick to your dog's normal food and treats and chews. And I think you'll be much happier and, of course, safer. So that's all we have for this episode. It was kind of a short one. Just want everyone to be aware and ready for Thanksgiving coming up. And be sure to go check out our Black Friday deals that are now live. There are some really, really awesome ones in there. So please be sure to go check those out. We will link them in the episode notes as well. And beyond that, we will catch you on the next episode.